Dyscalculia is informally known as what type of blindness? Number. Dyscalculia is a specific learning disability that affects a person's ability to understand and work with numbers, often described informally as number blindness. Individuals with dyscalculia may struggle with basic arithmetic, number sense, and mathematical concepts, similar to how dyslexia affects reading. A dangerous homemade heroin substitute drug popular in Russia, known for its ruinous effect on users' skin, is nicknamed what? Crocodile. Crocodile, dysomorphine, is a highly addictive and dangerous opioid synthesized from codeine, often in crude home laboratories. Its street name, crocodile, refers to the severe skin damage, including scaling, necrosis, and gangrene, seen in users due to toxic impurities in its preparation. In geology, what effect leads to the formation of igneous rocks? Volcanic activity. Igneous rocks are formed from the cooling and solidification of molten rock. This process can occur either beneath the Earth's surface, intrusive igneous rocks, or on the surface after volcanic eruptions, extrusive igneous rocks. What is the cube root of 1728? 12. The cube root of a number, x, is a number, y, such that when y is multiplied by itself 3 times, y times y times y, the result is x. For 1728, 12 times 12 times 12 equals 1728, making 12 its cube root. Refraction is the change of direction of a wave, such as light, caused by a change in its watt when passing from one medium to another. Speed. Refraction is the phenomenon where a wave changes its direction as it propagates from one medium to another. This change occurs because the wave speed alters when it enters a medium with a different optical density, causing it to bend. The becquerel, BQ, is a unit of measurement for what physical quantity? Radioactivity. The becquerel, BQ, is the SI-derived unit of radioactivity, named after Henry Becquerel, the discoverer of radioactivity. 1 becquerel is defined as 1 disintegration or transformation per second, quantifying the activity of a radionuclide source. Approximately how long does it take for the Earth's rotating axis to complete a full precessional cycle? 26,000 years. The Earth's axis exhibits a slow, conical wobble known as axial precession, akin to a spinning top. This motion is primarily caused by the gravitational forces of the Sun and Moon on the Earth's equatorial bulge, and it takes approximately 26,000 years to complete one full cycle. What are the crossed ropes acting as ladders to masts on old sailing ships called? Ratlines. Ratlines are short, horizontal ropes lashed to the shrouds, vertical support ropes, of a sailing ship's mast. They form a ladder-like structure that allows sailors to climb the rigging to reach the mast and yards for sail handling and other tasks. In Greek mythology, name the Gorgon monster with snakes for hair, who was slain by Perseus. Medusa. Medusa was one of the 3 Gorgons in Greek mythology, a monstrous female creature with venomous snakes for hair and a gaze that could turn onlookers to stone. She was famously beheaded by the hero Perseus, who used a polished shield to avoid direct eye contact. A dosimeter measures human absorption of what over a time period? Ionizing radiation. A dosimeter is a device that measures the cumulative dose of ionizing radiation absorbed by a person over a specific period. This measurement is vital for monitoring radiation exposure in various professional settings, ensuring safety and compliance with radiation protection standards. What is a big acoustic guitar, a type of old battleship, and a thick coat cloth, which means, fear nothing? Dreadnought. The term, dreadnought, is famously known for the revolutionary battleship HMS Dreadnought, launched in 1906, which rendered all previous battleships obsolete due to its all-big gun armament. This ship's design gave its name to an entire class of battleships and profoundly influenced naval architecture and the global arms race in the early 20th century. The human disease dropsy involves the accumulation of what in body cavities and tissue? Watery fluid. Dropsy is an antiquated term for edema, a medical condition marked by the abnormal accumulation of watery fluid in the interstitial spaces of tissues or body cavities. This symptom often indicates underlying health issues such as heart failure, kidney disease, or liver dysfunction, where fluid regulation is impaired. What technical term, also slang for street, refers to the forces resisting the forward movement of an aircraft? Drag. In aerodynamics, drag is the force that acts opposite to the relative motion of an object moving through a fluid, such as air. This resistive force is a critical factor in aircraft design, impacting fuel efficiency and performance, and engineers work to minimize it while maximizing lift. First named in French, Route du Roi, King's Highway, is the origin of the name of what London Parkside track? Rotten Row. Rotten Row, a renowned bridleway in London's Hyde Park, is thought to derive its name from the French, Route du Roi, King's Road, established during the reign of William III. Historically, it served as a fashionable promenade for horse riding among the gentry and remains a notable feature of London's historical urban landscape. What is the mythical conjuring trick for which Lord Northbrook failed to find claim or demonstration on offering a £10,000 prize in 1875? Indian rope trick. The Indian rope trick is a legendary illusion where a rope is said to ascend vertically into the air, with a performer then climbing it. Despite its pervasive myth, no credible public demonstration of this trick has ever been verified, leading to skepticism and historical challenges, such as Lord Northbrook's unclaimed prize offer in 1875. South Korean Ban Ki-moon was reappointed unopposed in June 2011 as head, Secretary General, of what organization? UN. Ban Ki-moon, a South Korean diplomat, served as the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations from January 2007 to December 2016. His unopposed reappointment in June 2011 underscored his significant role in international diplomacy and leadership on global issues, including sustainable development and conflict resolution. Prior to 1968, it was illegal in the UK to impersonate a what on a theatrical stage? Living member of the royal family. Prior to the passing of the Theatres Act in 1968, it was illegal in the United Kingdom to portray a living member of the royal family on stage. This censorship was enforced by the Lord Chamberlain and reflected historical sensitivities and legal traditions concerning the monarchy's public image and dignity in the arts. Which principality has been ruled by the Grimaldi family since 1297? Monaco. The House of Grimaldi is a European noble family of Genoese origin that has governed the Principality of Monaco since 1297. This makes it one of the world's oldest ruling dynasties, highlighting Monaco's enduring history as a sovereign state. The Core series of processors is a product line of which computer technology company? Intel Corporation. Intel Corporation, an American multinational corporation, is a global leader in semiconductor manufacturing. Its Core series, encompassing processors like i3, i5, i7, and i9, is central to personal computing, offering diverse performance levels for various applications. Which renowned pottery company originally developed iconic designs such as Kotani crane, wild strawberry, and jasperware? Wedgwood. Wedgwood is a historic English pottery company founded in 1759 by Hosier Wedgwood. It is famous for its high-quality ceramic wares, including the distinctive jasperware, a type of unglazed stoneware, and popular decorative patterns like wild strawberry and Kotani crane. What is the common name for aluminium oxide crystals, often utilized in grinding applications? Corundum. Corundum is a naturally occurring crystalline form of aluminium oxide, Due to its extreme hardness, ranking 9 on the Mohs scale, it is widely employed as an abrasive in industrial applications, including grinding and polishing. Precious gemstone varieties of corundum include ruby and sapphire. Sibilance refers to what type of sound? A hissing sound. Sibilance is a speech sound characterized by a hissing or whistling quality. These sounds are produced by directing a stream of air with the tongue towards the sharp edge of the teeth, and common examples in English include S, Z, SH, and ZH. What is the standard voltage of a common zinc-carbon or alkaline AAA battery? 1.5 volts. Standard household batteries, such as AAA, A, C, and D cells, consistently provide a nominal voltage of 1.5 volts per cell. This voltage is generated through specific chemical reactions within the battery, which converts stored chemical energy into electrical energy to power devices. Scuppernong, named after a river in North Carolina, USA, is a variety of which fruit? Grape. Scuppernong is a large, bronze-skinned grape variety, a cultivar of the muscadine grape, Vitis rotundifolia, native to the southeastern United States. It is particularly valued for its use in wines, juices, and jellies, thriving in warm, humid climates. What term, synonymous with a ghost, is also associated with corrective lenses and the colors of the rainbow? Spectre. A spectre can refer to a ghost or apparition. In physics, particularly optics, it relates to the spectrum of light, which is the range of colors produced when light passes through a prism or is diffracted, similar to a rainbow. What Latin legal term signifies being caught red-handed and translates literally as in blazing crime? In flagranti delicto. In flagranti delicto is a Latin legal term meaning in blazing crime. It is used to describe someone who is caught in the act of committing a crime, providing direct and irrefutable evidence of their guilt. This phrase is commonly used in legal contexts worldwide. What does erratum refer to when listed at the end of a publication? Errors. An erratum, plural, errata, is a list of errors in a printed work discovered and corrected after printing. It is typically found inserted into or at the end of a book or publication, informing readers about mistakes that require correction for accuracy. In culinary contexts, what are dhal typically? Split pulses. Dhal refers to dried, split pulses, legumes, that do not require pre-soaking. It is a staple food in South Asian cuisine, often cooked into a thick stew or soup. Common types include split lentils, peas, and beans, providing an important source of protein and fiber. How many centimeters are equivalent to 1 inch? 2.54 centimeters. The conversion factor between inches and centimeters is a fundamental concept in metrology. 1 inch is precisely defined as 2.54 centimeters, providing a standardized way to convert measurements between the imperial and metric systems. Laudanum, an historical medicine, was primarily derived from which substance? Opium. Laudanum is a tincture of opium containing approximately 10% powdered opium by weight, the equivalent of 1% morphine. Historically, it was widely used as a pain reliever and sedative, but its addictive properties led to its strict regulation and eventual decline in medical use. Toledo, a city in Spain, is renowned for producing high-quality examples of what item? Sword. Toledo, Spain, has a long and distinguished history of sword making, dating back to Roman times and peaking during the medieval and Renaissance periods. Toledo steel was highly prized for its exceptional hardness, flexibility, and sharpness, making Toledo swords legendary among warriors and collectors. A turbine is essentially a watt, driven by water or gas, etc. Wheel. A turbine is a rotary mechanical device that extracts energy from a fluid flow and converts it into useful work. Its essential component is a rotor, often referred to as a wheel or runner, equipped with blades that capture the fluid's kinetic or potential energy. This is a core concept in power generation and mechanical engineering. What is the ancient process by which materials such as metal or glass are heated and then cooled slowly to ease forces produced by shaping? Annealing. Annealing is a heat treatment process that alters the microstructure of a material to change its mechanical properties, such as ductility, hardness, and strength. It involves heating a material above its recrystallization temperature, maintaining a suitable temperature for a specific duration, and then slowly cooling it. This process reduces internal stresses, makes the material more ductile, and improves its workability. An integer is what sort of number? Whole. An integer is a number that can be written without a fractional component. It includes positive numbers, 1, 2, 3, negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, and 0, 0. Integers are part of the number system, distinguishing them from rational or real numbers which can have fractional parts. According to official records, what was the first song ever sung in space? Happy Birthday. The first song ever officially sung in space was Happy Birthday. This occurred on August 21, 1961, when astronaut John Glenn sang it aboard Friendship 7 for fellow astronaut Scott Carpenter, who was celebrating his 40th birthday. This event is a memorable piece of early space exploration history. What widely used solvent and compound with the symbol CH3, 2CO smells of pear drops and is in nail polish remover? Acetone. Acetone, chemically propanone, CH3, 2CO, is a colorless, volatile, and flammable organic compound. It is the simplest ketone and serves as a highly effective solvent for many plastics and synthetic fibers. Acetone is commonly found in nail polish remover and is a paint thinner due to its strong dissolving properties. According to a global study of wind power in 2005, what extent of the world's total energy usage could be satisfied if all viable wind power locations were exploited? 5 times. A 2005 global study on wind power potential indicated that if all technically viable wind power locations worldwide were fully exploited, the energy generated could potentially satisfy the world's total energy usage 5 times over. This highlights the immense, albeit challenging to fully harness, potential of wind energy as a renewable power source. A photovoltaic module is more commonly known as what? Solar panel. A photovoltaic (PV) module, more commonly known as a solar panel, is an assembly of photovoltaic cells mounted in a frame. These panels convert sunlight directly into electricity using the photovoltaic effect. Solar panels are a key component of solar power systems, providing a clean and renewable source of energy. Sulfur, sulfur dioxide and various nitrogen oxides are the main contributory factors in what unhelpful environmental effect? Acid rain. Acid rain is a broad term for any form of precipitation with acidic components, such as sulfuric or nitric acid, that fall to the ground from the atmosphere in wet or dry forms. It is primarily caused by emissions of sulfur dioxide, SO2, and nitrogen oxides, NOx, from human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels. Acid rain has detrimental effects on forests, freshwater ecosystems, and infrastructure. What structural modification of oxygen is an air pollutant in the lower atmosphere but beneficial in the upper atmosphere? Ozone. Ozone, O3, is a molecule composed of 3 oxygen atoms. In the Earth's lower atmosphere, troposphere, it acts as a harmful air pollutant, contributing to smog and respiratory problems. However, in the upper atmosphere, stratosphere, the ozone layer plays a crucial beneficial role by absorbing most of the sun's harmful ultraviolet, UV, radiation, protecting life on Earth. In excess of how many gallons of water are lost each day in the USA to leaks, equating to 14% of all withdrawals. 6 billion. Water loss due to leaks in infrastructure is a significant environmental and economic issue. In the USA, it is estimated that in excess of 6 billion gallons of treated water are lost daily due to leaks, accounting for roughly 14% of all water withdrawals. This highlights the importance of investing in water infrastructure maintenance and leak detection to conserve resources. What colorless, odorless, poisonous polluting gas is chiefly emitted by small engines typically used in lawnmowers and chainsaws? Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, CO, is a highly toxic, colorless, and odorless gas produced by the incomplete combustion of carbon-containing fuels. It is particularly dangerous as it binds to hemoglobin in red blood cells more readily than oxygen, leading to oxygen deprivation in the body. What highly toxic element was traditionally used in thermometers, posing a substantial safety and disposal risk? Mercury. Mercury, Hg, a heavy metal, was widely used in thermometers due to its high thermal expansion coefficient and liquid state at room temperature. Its toxicity, particularly as a neurotoxin, led to its phasing out in many applications, prompting concerns about safe disposal and environmental contamination. The 1987 Montreal Protocol concerns specifically, and includes in its full title, substances that deplete what? The ozone layer. The Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer is an international treaty designed to protect the stratospheric ozone layer by phasing out the production of numerous substances responsible for ozone depletion. Signed in 1987, it is considered one of the most successful international environmental agreements. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and sulfur hexafluoride are widely referred to by what collective metaphorical term? Greenhouse gases. These gases are collectively known as greenhouse gases, GHGs, because they absorb and emit radiant energy within the thermal infrared range, causing the greenhouse effect. This effect leads to the warming of Earth's surface and atmosphere, contributing significantly to climate change. From the Greek root words for house and study of, what term refers to the scientific study of the relationship between living things and their natural environment? Ecology. Ecology is the branch of biology that studies the relationships among organisms and their biophysical environment, including the interactions of organisms with each other and with their abiotic, non-living, surroundings. The term derives from the Greek words, oikos, house or dwelling, and logia, study of. An R number identifies what sort of substance having potentially significant impact on global warming when used in heating, cooling applications. Refrigerant. In the context of global warming and environmental impact, R numbers often refer to specific refrigerants, which are compounds used in refrigerators, air conditioners, and other heating, cooling systems. Many traditional refrigerants, like CFCs and HCFCs, have high global warming potentials, GWPs, making their management and replacement crucial for climate change mitigation. The DuPont trade name Freon has become an alternative name for which abbreviated compound name strongly associated with global warming. CFC. Freon is a DuPont trademark for a series of refrigerants that are chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, and hydrochlorofluorocarbons, HCFCs. CFCs were widely used as refrigerants and propellants but were found to cause significant depletion of the ozone layer and are potent greenhouse gases, leading to their international phase-out under the Montreal Protocol. The R value, used in the building and construction industry, is a measure of what quality of materials? Thermal resistance. The R value is a measure of thermal resistance, used in the building and construction industry to quantify how well a material resists the conductive flow of heat. Higher R values indicate greater insulation effectiveness, which is crucial for energy efficiency in buildings by reducing heat loss in winter and heat gain in summer. Which international human rights organization uses the motto, "Better to light a candle than curse the darkness"? Amnesty International. Better to light a candle than curse the darkness is the enduring motto of Amnesty International, a global non-governmental organization focused on human rights. The phrase encapsulates their mission to shed light on injustices and advocate for change rather than passively lamenting human rights abuses. What is the motto of the Olympic Games? Citius, Altius, Fortius, faster, higher, stronger. Citius, Altius, Fortius is the Latin motto of the Olympic Games, meaning faster, higher, stronger. It was proposed by Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the modern Olympic Games, upon its creation in 1894 and officially adopted in 1924. This motto encapsulates the spirit of athletic excellence and continuous self-improvement central to the Olympic movement. What is the motto of the BBC? Nation shall speak peace unto nation. Nation shall speak peace unto nation is the official motto of the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC. Adopted in 1927, this motto reflects the BBC's original mission to foster understanding and communication between people, both domestically and internationally, through impartial broadcasting. It highlights the significant role of media in global discourse and international relations. What is the motto of the Royal Society? Nullius in verba, on the word of no one. Nullius in verba is the motto of the Royal Society, a fellowship of many of the world's most eminent scientists, founded in 1660. The Latin phrase, meaning, on the word of no one, reflects the Society's commitment to empirical evidence and independent verification of facts, rather than relying on authority. This principle was foundational to the development of modern science and the scientific method. What is the motto, Dieu et mon droit, God and my right, associated with? The British royal family, England, The Times. Dieu et mon droit is the motto of the British monarch, adopted by King Henry V in the 15th century. It signifies the sovereign's divine right to rule and is prominently featured on the Royal Coat of Arms of the United Kingdom. This phrase underscores historical concepts of monarchy and national identity. What term, deriving from an ancient Chinese bowing gesture, describes behaving in a subservient or overly obedient manner? Kowtow. The term, kowtow, originates from the Chinese, kito, referring to the act of kneeling and touching the forehead to the ground as a sign of worship, reverence, or submission. In English, it has evolved to mean acting in an obsequious or subservient way, often to gain favor. This reflects the influence of cultural practices on global language. Ursa Major and Ursa Minor are constellations commonly known as the Great and Little what, respectively? Bear. Ursa Major, the Great Bear, and Ursa Minor, the Little Bear, are two prominent constellations in the Northern Hemisphere. Ursa Major is famous for containing the Big Dipper asterism, while Ursa Minor contains the Little Dipper and Polaris, the North Star. These constellations have been used for navigation for millennia and hold significant cultural and mythological importance across various civilizations. What common name is given to medial tibial stress syndrome, MTSS? Shin splints. Medial tibial stress syndrome, MTSS, commonly known as shin splints, is a painful condition caused by overuse or repetitive stress on the shin bone, tibia, and the connective tissues that attach muscles to it. It often affects runners and athletes due to increased physical activity. Understanding such common medical conditions is part of general science awareness. In 18th-19th century Italy, what was a cisusbio? A paid companion or lover to a married woman. In 18th and early 19th century Italy, a cisusbio, or cavalier servant, was a man who acted as the recognized escort, often a lover, of a married woman. This social custom, prevalent among the aristocracy, allowed married women a degree of social freedom within the confines of societal norms. Lord Byron's life in Italy notably featured such relationships. What ancient name applies to the days of hot summer, derived from the belief that the star Sirius caused them? Dog days. The term, dog days, refers to the hottest, most humid days of summer in the northern hemisphere, historically associated with the heliacal rising of Sirius, the dog star, in ancient Greece and Rome. It was believed that Sirius, appearing alongside the sun, contributed to the season's intense heat. Of these sedimentary rocks, which one is not organic, being instead clastic? Shale. Shale is a clastic sedimentary rock, primarily composed of clay minerals and quartz grains, which are fragments of pre-existing rocks. Unlike organic sedimentary rocks formed from biological material, clastic rocks are formed from the mechanical weathering, erosion, and deposition of sediments. On the Beaufort scale of wind force, what wind name is given to number 8, which breaks twigs off trees and impedes progress? Gale. The Beaufort scale is an empirical measure that relates wind speed to observed conditions on land or at sea. A wind force of 8 on this scale is classified as a gale, characterized by winds strong enough to break twigs off trees and make walking difficult. What notable leader was born in Ranshofen, near Braunau, Austria, in 1889? Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, the leader of the Nazi Party and dictator of Nazi Germany from 1933 to 1945, was born on April 20, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, Austria-Hungary. His regime was responsible for the Holocaust and the initiation of World War II, fundamentally altering 20th century history. Somalia is in the region known as the what of Africa? Horn. Somalia is located in the region of Eastern Africa known as the Horn of Africa, which also includes Djibouti, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. This strategically important peninsula juts into the Arabian Sea and lies along the southern side of the Gulf of Aden. A piece of what monument forms part of Ronald Reagan's statue in London's Grosvenor Square? Berlin Wall. A section of the Berlin Wall is incorporated into the base of Ronald Reagan's statue in Grosvenor Square, London. This inclusion symbolizes Reagan's pivotal role in advocating for the end of the Cold War and the reunification of Germany, famously urging Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down this wall. Derived from French pantomime, what is a clown with a white face, white garments, and a pointed hat? Pierrot. Pierrot is a classic character from French pantomime and commedia dell'arte, known for his distinctive appearance, a white face, loose white garments, and often a pointed hat, a ruffled collar. He typically represents a melancholy or lovesick clown, often unrequited in his affections. Seismic refers to what natural effect? Earthquake. The term, seismic, relates to earthquakes or other vibrations of the Earth's crust. Seismic waves are generated by sudden movements in the Earth's tectonic plates, and their study, known as seismology, helps scientists understand the Earth's interior structure and predict seismic activity. What is the organic compound acid with the chemical formula CH3COOH, and what is it the main component of? Acetic acid. Acetic acid, carbon trihydride CO, is an organic compound known for its distinctive sour taste and pungent smell, primarily found as the main component of vinegar. It is a weak acid widely used in food preservation, various industrial processes, and is a reagent in laboratories. What color is a polar bear's skin? Black. Despite their white fur, polar bears have black skin underneath, which helps them absorb and retain heat from the sun. Their fur is not actually white but rather translucent, scattering sunlight to appear white, aiding in camouflage in snowy environments. What color, a bright strong green, and also a diamond pattern, takes its name from a famous clown character? Harlequin. Harlequin, a character from the 16th century Italian commedia dell'arte, is traditionally depicted in a costume made of a patchwork of diamond shapes. This iconic pattern and the associated bright, strong green color are thus named after him, representing a blend of theatrical history and artistic design. Which former US presidential first lady founded a famous drug rehabilitation clinic? Betty Ford. Betty Ford, the former First Lady of the United States, courageously disclosed her struggles with alcohol and prescription drug addiction, leading to her founding the renowned Betty Ford Center in 1982. This clinic has since become a leading institution for drug and alcohol rehabilitation, significantly impacting public perception and treatment of addiction. The failed Mau Mau uprising of the 1950s preceded the eventual independence from British colonial rule of what nation in 1963? Kenya. The Mau Mau uprising was an armed struggle by the Kenya Land and Freedom Army against British colonial rule in Kenya during the 1950s. Although suppressed by the British, it played a significant role in accelerating Kenya's path to independence, which was achieved in 1963. Formed after the National Revolution in 1917, the NKVD was the public and ruthless secret police of which country until 1946? Russia. The NKVD, People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs, was the principal state security agency of the Soviet Union, responsible for internal security, intelligence, and the operation of the Gulag system, from 1934 to 1946. It was a notoriously ruthless organization that carried out political repression, including purges and executions, under the leadership of Joseph Stalin. Gramophone records are made of, and sometimes called, what popular name for the polymer material in question? Vinyl. Gramophone records, also known as vinyl records, are primarily made from polyvinyl chloride, PVC, a synthetic plastic polymer. This material was widely adopted due to its durability, flexibility, and ability to accurately reproduce sound from the grooves etched into its surface. What originally Venetian word refers to a meeting of boats or yacht races? Regatta. The word regatta originated in Venice, Italy, deriving from the local dialect word regatta, meaning a contest or canal race. It is now universally used to describe a series of boat races or a meeting of racing yachts, particularly in sailing and rowing events. Regicide refers to killing a king. Regicide is the act of killing a monarch or sovereign. This term specifically applies to the murder of a reigning king or queen, often carrying significant political and historical implications, as seen in various historical events like the execution of Charles I of England. What is the compound, NH4NO3, commonly used in fertilizer and improvised bombs? Ammonium nitrate. Ammonium nitrate is a chemical compound primarily used as a rich source of nitrogen in agricultural fertilizer due to its high solubility. However, its explosive properties, especially when mixed with fuel oil, also make it a dangerous component in improvised explosive devices, leading to strict regulations on its storage and sale in many countries. What metallic element is named after an asteroid discovered in 1802? Which itself was named after an alternate name of the Greek goddess Athene? Palladium. Palladium, Pd, is a rare and lustrous silvery white metallic element, part of the platinum group metals. Discovered in 1803 by William Hyde Wollaston, it was named after the asteroid Pallas, which in turn derived its name from the Greek goddess Pallas Athena. How many petals does a cruciferous plant typically have? 4. Cruciferous plants belong to the Brassicaceae family, encompassing vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, and mustard. A defining characteristic of their flowers is the presence of 4 petals arranged in a cross-like formation, from which the term cruciferous is derived. The stone, flint, is a form of what near to pure compound with the formula silicon oxide? Silica. Flint is a hard, sedimentary cryptocrystalline form of the mineral quartz, which is a type of silica, silicon dioxide, silicon oxide. Known for its conchoidal fracture and sharp edges, it was a crucial material for tools and weapons in prehistoric times. Name the Germanic tribe that settled in Britain during the 5th and 6th centuries, whose name persists in a region of Denmark. Jutes. The Jutes were one of the 3 major Germanic tribes, alongside the Angles and Saxons, who migrated to Britain in the post-Roman period. They are believed to have originated from Jutland, a peninsula in modern Denmark, and established settlements primarily in Kent and the Isle of Wight. What title of reverence, meaning great soul, in Sanskrit, is typically used for a spiritual leader? Mahatma. The term Mahatma literally translates to great soul, from Sanskrit Maha for great and Atma for soul. While it is a title of high reverence often bestowed upon spiritual or venerable leaders, it is not specifically a Buddhist term, contrary to some popular misconceptions. Most famously, it was used to refer to Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. The genocide of Tutsi people by Hutu militia in 1994 occurred in which country? Rwanda. The Rwandan genocide was a horrific mass slaughter of Tutsi people by Hutu extremist militias and government forces, which took place over approximately 100 days from April to July 1994. An estimated 800,000 Tutsis and moderate Hutus were killed, making it one of the deadliest genocides in modern history. What on a bird has a calamus, rachis, and barbs? Feather. A feather is a defining characteristic of birds, crucial for flight, insulation, and display. Its structure, including the calamus, hollow shaft, rachis, main shaft, and barbs, branches of the rachis, is essential for its function. Explorer, Chrome, Safari, and Firefox are among the most globally popular in early 2000s. Internet browser. Internet browser are software applications that allow users to access and view websites on the World Wide Web. Explorer, Internet Explorer, Chrome, Safari, and Firefox were prominent examples, crucial for the Internet's widespread adoption in the early 2000s. Who led the Muslim army to victory against the Meccans in the Battle of Badr, 624 AD? Muhammad. The Battle of Badr in 624 AD was a pivotal moment in early Islamic history, marking a decisive victory for the nascent Muslim community led by Prophet Muhammad against the Meccan polytheists. This battle significantly boosted the morale and influence of the Muslims. Arthroscopy refers to surgery performed on what parts of the human body? Joints. Arthroscopy is a minimally invasive surgical procedure used to diagnose and treat problems inside a joint. It involves inserting a small camera, arthroscope, through a tiny incision, allowing surgeons to view, examine, and repair joint tissues. What Italian term, adopted into English, refers to a mixed language enabling communication between different national groups? Lingua franca. A lingua franca is a language systematically used to make communication possible between people who do not share a native language. The term, meaning Frankish language, in Italian, originally referred to a pidgin used by traders in the Mediterranean. English often serves as a modern global lingua franca. What long, narrow muscle, associated with tailoring and elegance, runs across the front of the thigh, from the hip to the leg below the inside of the knee? Sartorius. The sartorius is the longest muscle in the human body, extending obliquely down the thigh. Its name comes from the Latin word, sartor, meaning tailor, as it aids in movements like crossing legs, a position often associated with tailors. Talaq is a form of what under Islamic, Sharia, law? Divorce. Talaq is an Arabic word for divorce, specifically referring to the pronouncement of divorce by a husband under Islamic law. While various forms and interpretations exist, it traditionally allows a Muslim man to unilaterally divorce his wife. What is the Latin term for a reigning queen, often shown after her first name as a formal title? Regina. Regina is a Latin word meaning queen. It is commonly used as a formal title for a reigning queen, often appended to her name, such as Elizabeth Regina, signifying her sovereign status. What is the third, inner, angle measurement of a triangle if the other two are 25 and 18 degrees? 137 degrees. The sum of the interior angles in any triangle is always 180 degrees. To find the third angle, subtract the sum of the two known angles, 25 plus 18 equals 43 degrees, from 180 degrees. Thus, 180 to 43 equals 137 degrees. What corporation acquired the major UK-based online retailer, The Book Depository, in 2011? Amazon. Amazon, a global e-commerce giant, acquired the Book Depository in 2011. This acquisition further strengthened Amazon's position in the online book retail market, integrating a competitor known for its wide selection and free worldwide delivery. What is the popular technical term for a speech sound or letter, articulated with complete or partial closure of the vocal tract? Consonant. A consonant is a speech sound produced by obstructing the airflow in the vocal tract, either completely or partially. This obstruction differentiates consonants from vowels, where the airflow is relatively unimpeded. What Old English portmanteau word is formed from two words meaning occur and situation? Happenstance. Happenstance is a portmanteau word, combining happen and circumstance, referring to a chance or accidental occurrence. It implies a situation that happens unexpectedly or without clear planning. Dame Evelyn Glennie, who is profoundly deaf, is a world-renowned what? Percussionist. Dame Evelyn Glennie is a Scottish virtuoso percussionist, renowned globally for her innovative performances and advocacy for music education. She is profoundly deaf and uses her body to interpret sound vibrations, breaking barriers in the music world. What folktale character, a runaway slave, removed a thorn from a lion's paw, which subsequently spared him in the arena, resulting in a pardon from the emperor? Androcles. The tale of Androcles and the lion is an ancient Roman fable illustrating themes of kindness and gratitude. Androcles, a runaway slave, helps a lion by removing a thorn, and the lion later recognizes and spares him in the arena, leading to Androcles' freedom. What country controversially won the bid to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup? Qatar. Qatar controversially won the bid to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup, becoming the first Arab nation to do so. The decision was met with criticism regarding human rights, treatment of migrant workers, and allegations of corruption. The Al Jazeera broadcasting organization is owned by and headquartered in what country? Qatar. Al Jazeera Media Network, a global news organization, is owned by the state of Qatar. Headquartered in Doha, Qatar, it launched in 1996 and gained significant international prominence for its coverage of news from a non-Western perspective. To the nearest 1,000 meters, how deep is the ocean floor at its deepest? 11,000 meters. The deepest part of the ocean floor is the Challenger Deep, located at the southern end of the Mariana Trench in the western Pacific Ocean. Its maximum known depth is approximately 10,984 meters, about 11,000 meters, making it deeper than Mount Everest is tall. The mineral, diamond, is naturally what crystal shape? Cubic. Diamonds, which are allotropes of carbon, naturally crystallize in the cubic, or isometric, crystal system. Specifically, they often form as octahedrons, which are a type of cubic crystal shape. From Greek, meaning generation and knowledge, what word commonly refers to the study of family history? Genealogy. Genealogy is the study of family history, tracing lineage and descents. The term originates from the Greek words genia, generation, and logia, study or knowledge, literally meaning the study of generations. Medieval history, or the Middle Ages, loosely covers what centuries? 5th–15th centuries. The Middle Ages, or the medieval period, is a period in European history that broadly spans from the 5th to the 15th century. It began with the fall of the Western Roman Empire and transitioned into the Renaissance and the Age of Discovery. The New Caledonia archipelago in the South Pacific is a special collectivity, territory of which nation? France. New Caledonia is a special collectivity of France located in the Southwest Pacific Ocean. It holds a unique status within the French Republic, granting it a high degree of autonomy, and has periodically held referendums on independence. Flipkart was founded and became a major online retailer, notably of books, in which country? India. Flipkart, an Indian e-commerce company, was founded in 2007 by Sachin Bansal and Binni Bansal. Initially focusing on online book sales, it grew to become one of India's largest online retailers, playing a pivotal role in the country's e-commerce boom. What communications device was cited particularly by UK authorities as a significant factor in organizing the London riots of August 2011? BlackBerry. The London riots of August 2011 saw widespread use of social media and communication platforms, particularly BlackBerry's messenger service, BBM, for coordinating activities among rioters. The encrypted and closed-group nature of BBM made it a difficult tool for authorities to monitor at the time, highlighting its role in facilitating rapid organization during civil unrest. What is the fruit of the tree technically known as Phoenix dactylifera? Dates. Phoenix dactylifera is the scientific name for the date palm, a species of palm tree cultivated for its edible sweet fruit, dates. Dates are a staple food in many Middle Eastern and North African countries, known for their high nutritional value and energy content. What Greek word gave us a common suffix referring to disease or illness, and a quality in something which prompts pity or sadness? Pathos. The Greek word, pathos, signifies suffering or experience. In English, it forms the root for words related to disease, such as pathology or neuropathy, and also describes an emotional appeal or a quality in art or literature that evokes pity or sadness in the audience. Angel, Itatinga, Kuknan, Omeli, and Tissa are all what? Waterfalls. Angel Falls, Venezuela, Itatinga Falls, Brazil, Kuknan Falls, Venezuela, Omeli Falls, Norway, and Tissafossen, Norway, are all notable waterfalls. These natural geographical features are formed where river water flows over a vertical drop or a series of steep drops in its course. The Fisher-Sala scale, used in anthropology and medicine, determines the color shades of what? Hair. The Fisher-Sala scale is a standardized system of hair color samples used in fields like anthropology, forensics, and medicine to accurately classify human hair pigmentation. It provides a consistent reference for comparing and describing hair colors across different individuals and populations. Under the ABO blood group system, what blood type can receive blood transfusions from all other groups? AB. Individuals with a B blood type are considered universal recipients because their red blood cells possess both A and B antigens, and their plasma contains neither anti-A nor anti-B antibodies. This unique composition allows them to safely receive blood from A, B, O, and AB blood types without an adverse immune reaction. Unlike base metals and silver, gold does not dissolve in water acid, enabling testing of the metal's presence, incidentally originating the expression, acid test. Nitric acid. Nitric acid is used to test gold's purity because gold, a noble metal, does not react with it, unlike most other metals. This chemical resistance forms the basis for the term, acid test, signifying a severe or crucial examination. What is the medical word, from Greek meaning, nasal mucus, for inflammation of the mucous membranes lining the nasal cavity, typically a symptom of a head cold or hay fever? Coryza. Coryza, commonly known as a common cold or rhinitis, refers to the inflammation of the mucous membranes within the nasal cavity. It is characterized by symptoms such as a runny nose, sneezing, and nasal congestion, often caused by viral infections or allergens. What German pharmaceuticals corporation developed the first aspirin medication in 1897, and retains the trademark in much of the world today? Bayer. Bayer, a German multinational pharmaceutical and life sciences company, developed aspirin, acetylsalicylic acid, in 1897. Aspirin became one of the most widely used medications globally, known for its pain-relieving, anti-inflammatory, and fever-reducing properties. The Martin-Schulz scale is commonly used in physical anthropology to determine the color of what in humans? Eyes. The Martin-Schulz scale is a standardized anthropometric tool primarily used in physical anthropology and forensics to classify human eye color. It provides a consistent method for categorizing the various shades of eye pigmentation across populations. How many new states were created when the USSR collapsed in 1991? 15. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in December 1991 resulted in the creation of 15 independent sovereign states. This pivotal event fundamentally reshaped the global political map and marked the end of the Cold War era. The UK Concise, Daily Briefing, newspaper produced by The Independent is called by what single lowercase letter? I. The I is a British national newspaper launched in 2010 by Independent News and Media. It is designed as a concise, high-quality daily briefing, offering a summary of news from its sister publication, The Independent, and other sources for a broad readership. The staging of what enormous annual Afro-Caribbean cultural gathering was put in doubt following the London riots of August 2011? Notting Hill Carnival. The Notting Hill Carnival is one of the world's largest street festivals, celebrating Afro-Caribbean culture annually in London. In August 2011, its continuation was briefly jeopardized following widespread riots in London, prompting significant public safety concerns and debates about its future. The port city of Latakia was besieged during 2011 by its own government forces, of what nation? Syria. In 2011, during the early stages of the Syrian civil war, the port city of Latakia was besieged by Syrian government forces. This event was part of the wider crackdown on anti-government protests, marking a critical point in the escalating conflict within Syria. Under the ABO blood group system, what blood type can donate for blood transfusions safely to all other groups? O. Blood type O negative is considered the universal donor as its red blood cells lack A, B, and Rh antigens, making them compatible with all other blood types. This characteristic is crucial in emergency medical situations when a patient's blood type is unknown. Ashkenazi, Sephardi, and Mizrahi are subgroups of what ethno-religious people? Jews. Ashkenazi, Sephardi, and Mizrahi are the principal ethno-religious subgroups of the Jewish people, distinguished by their distinct historical, cultural, and linguistic traditions. These groups primarily developed based on their geographical dispersion across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. At $12.5 billion, what phone corporation became Google's biggest acquisition in August 2011? Motorola. In August 2011, Google acquired Motorola Mobility for approximately $12.5 billion, making it Google's largest acquisition at that time. This strategic move was primarily aimed at acquiring Motorola's extensive patent portfolio to bolster Android's competitive position in the smartphone market. What plant is named from the French, lion's tooth? Dandelion. The word, dandelion, originates from the Old French phrase, dent the lion, meaning, lion's tooth. This etymology refers to the plant's sharply toothed leaves, which visually resemble a lion's canines. Slate is an example of what type of rock, whose name loosely means, change in form. Metamorphic. Slate is a fine-grained, foliated metamorphic rock, formed when shale or mudstone undergoes low-grade regional metamorphism. Metamorphic rocks are those that have undergone a change in form, due to extreme heat, pressure, or chemical processes within the Earth's crust. From Latin meaning border, or edge, what traditional term refers to the brain structures including the hippocampus and amygdala, which support functions of emotion, behavior, long-term memory, and smell? Limbic system. The limbic system is a complex set of brain structures located on both sides of the thalamus, immediately beneath the cerebrum. It plays a crucial role in regulating emotions, motivation, memory, and autonomic functions. Key components include the hippocampus, memory formation, and amygdala, emotional responses. What is the fuller name of the road surfacing material, tarmac? Tarmacadam. Tarmacadam, commonly shortened to tarmac, is a road surfacing material patented by Edgar Pernell Hooley in 1902. It consists of crushed stone mixed with tar, creating a durable and water-resistant surface. This invention revolutionized road construction, making roads smoother and more robust for increased traffic. What three instruments are considered the mainstay of American, old-time music? Banjo, fiddle, guitar. Old-time music is a genre of American folk music with roots in the Appalachian region. Its core instrumentation typically includes the banjo, fiddle, and guitar, which together create its characteristic sound. This genre laid the foundation for bluegrass and modern country music. What style of cooking is named after a province of southwestern China, and is noted for its spicy taste, especially from garlic, chili peppers, peanuts, sesame, and ginger? Sichuan. Sichuan cuisine originates from the Sichuan province in southwestern China and is renowned for its bold and pungent flavors. The dominant characteristics are its spiciness, often from chili peppers and Sichuan peppercorns, and the liberal use of garlic, ginger, and peanuts. It is one of the 8 great cuisines of China. John Stacey Adams' 1963 motivational concept, which suggests people's motivation and attitude is strongly influenced by assessing effort and reward in a comparative outward sense, is called Adams' what theory? Equity. Adams' equity theory, developed by John Stacey Adams in 1963, posits that an individual's motivation is influenced by their perception of fairness in social exchanges. People compare their input to output ratio with that of others, and perceived inequity can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and demotivation. This theory is significant in the study of organizational behavior and human resources. In the mid-1700s, Swede Carl Linnaeus devised the modern-day taxonomy, category structure, for, and was first to catalogue what? Life on Earth. Carl Linnaeus, an 18th-century Swedish botanist, zoologist, and physician, is known as the father of modern taxonomy. He developed the system of binomial nomenclature, assigning each species a two-part Latin name, and first catalogued life on Earth in his seminal work, Systema Naturae. His hierarchical classification system remains the foundation of biological classification today. What geological term refers to granular material sized between sand and clay, derived from soil or rock? Silt. Silt is a granular material, typically fine mineral particles, that forms an important component of soil, often found in riverbeds and deltas. Its particle size is intermediate between sand and clay, influencing soil texture and water retention. The opposite of nadir, what word refers to directly overhead, or more generally the highest point? Zenith. Zenith refers to the point in the sky or celestial sphere directly above an observer. It is the highest point in the local sky and is diametrically opposite to the nadir, which is the point directly below the observer. What item of clothing, known as a topi, was popularized by Indian leaders Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, and later by anti-corruption campaigner Anna Hazare? Cap. The topi, cap, became a symbolic item of clothing, particularly the Gandhi cap, representing Indian nationalism and self-reliance during the independence movement. Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, and later figures like Anna Hazare popularized it as a symbol of the common man and political activism. What six-letter two-word French expression was adopted into English in the mid-1700s referring to a witty remark? Bon mot. A bon mot is a French expression directly translating to good word, which was adopted into English to describe a clever or witty remark. It signifies an apt and often spontaneous observation that is well phrased and humorous. What is the offspring of a male horse and a female donkey? Hinny. A hinny is a hybrid animal resulting from the crossbreeding of a male horse, stallion, and a female donkey, jenny. While similar to a mule, offspring of a male donkey and female horse, hinnies are generally smaller and more horse-like in appearance, though both are typically sterile. Snow, the world's biggest-selling beer as of 2011, is based in and dominates the market of which nation? China. Snow Beer, a Chinese brand, became the world's best-selling beer by volume as of 2011, largely due to its immense popularity and market dominance within China. Its success highlights the scale of the Chinese consumer market and its impact on global industry rankings. Fruit Importers of Ireland Limited acquired, in 1986, and later adopted the name of what company, said to be the oldest fruit brand in the world? Fluff. Fluff, an Irish fruit company, is widely recognized as one of the oldest fruit brands globally, with a history tracing back to the late 19th century. Fruit Importers of Ireland Limited acquired Fluff in 1986 and subsequently adopted its venerable name, capitalizing on its strong brand recognition and legacy in the international fruit trade. A pneumatic motor converts potential energy from which source into mechanical work? Compressed air. Pneumatic motors operate by converting the potential energy stored in compressed air into kinetic energy, which then performs mechanical work. This principle is widely used in industrial tools, automation systems, and various applications requiring power transmission. The formula 4/3 pi r cubed, 4/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius cubed, is used to calculate the volume of which geometric shape? Sphere. This formula is fundamental in geometry and physics for determining the volume enclosed by a sphere. Understanding such basic geometric formulas is crucial for various applications in engineering, astronomy, and other scientific fields. If 27 solid cubes are arranged to form a larger 3 by 3x3 cube, what is the maximum number of individual cubes visible from any single perspective? 19. A 3 by 3x3 cube consists of 27 smaller cubes. From any single angle, one can typically see faces on three sides, e.g., top, front, right. The maximum visibility of 19 cubes is achieved by counting all visible faces and avoiding double counting shared edges and vertices. Via Dolorosa is the how many stations of the cross, the Christian ritual tracing the key stages of the death of Jesus, beginning with his condemnation and ending with his being laid in the tomb. 14. The Via Dolorosa, meaning sorrowful way, in Latin, consists of 14 stations of the cross. This ancient Christian pilgrimage route in Jerusalem commemorates the path Jesus Christ took to his crucifixion, serving as a powerful devotional practice for tracing the final moments of his life. The Russian Crimea Highway, trunk road from Moscow to the Crimea in Ukraine as the M.What. 2. The M2, also known as the Crimea Highway, is a major federal highway in Russia connecting Moscow to the Crimean Peninsula via Tula and Oryol. It plays a significant role in the region's infrastructure, facilitating transport and economic links. What number turned on its side, rotated 90 degrees, is the symbol for infinity? 8. The symbol for infinity, is a lemma skate, which visually resembles the numeral 8 rotated 90 degrees. This symbol represents a boundless or immeasurable quantity, a fundamental concept across various fields including mathematics, physics, and philosophy. What is the larger number of the binary system? 1. In the binary numeral system, which is base 2, the only two digits used are 0 and 1. The digit, 1, represents the on state or a true value, making it the larger of the two fundamental units that form the basis of all digital computation. Japanese haiku poems loosely comprise how many syllables? 17. A traditional Japanese haiku poem typically consists of 17 syllables arranged in a 5-7-5 pattern across 3 lines. This concise poetic form is known for its focus on a single moment, often incorporating elements of nature and the seasons. The tropics of Cancer and Capricorn are respectively, what number, and half degrees north and south of the equator? 23. The tropics of Cancer and Capricorn are located at approximately 23.5 degrees north and south of the equator, respectively. These parallels of latitude mark the northernmost and southernmost points where the sun can be directly overhead at noon, defining the tropical zone of the Earth. What number do the Greek word deca and the Latin word decem represent? 10. The Greek prefix deca and the Latin root decem both signify the number 10. This etymological connection highlights shared linguistic roots and the historical development of numerical terminology across Indo-European languages. How many books are conventionally included in the New Testament of the Bible? 27. The New Testament, the second major division of the Christian biblical canon, comprises 27 books. These texts primarily focus on the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, the ministry of the apostles, and early Christian doctrine, playing a foundational role in Christianity. How many arms, or rays, does a starfish typically possess? 5. Starfish, or sea stars, are echinoderms characterized by their radial symmetry. While some species can have more, the most common number of arms for a starfish is 5, radiating from a central disk. A lunar month averages how many days, in addition to 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 3 seconds? 29. A synodic month, commonly known as a lunar month, is the time it takes for the moon to complete one full cycle of phases as observed from Earth. This period averages approximately 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 3 seconds, governing the timing of lunar phases and tides. Which pluralized number is used with the term, roaring, to describe a decade of prosperity in the Western world during the 1900s? 20. The Roaring Twenties refers to the 1920s decade, a period of significant economic prosperity, cultural dynamism, and social change in the Western world, particularly in North America and Europe. This era saw rapid industrial growth, the rise of jazz music, and changing social norms before the Great Depression. Traditionally, which anniversary year is symbolized by silver? 25. In many Western cultures, silver traditionally symbolizes the 25th anniversary of an event, most commonly a wedding. This tradition reflects the preciousness and enduring value associated with silver, signifying a significant milestone. What is the only positive integer that is equal to twice the sum of its digits? 18. For the number 18, the sum of its digits is 1 plus 8 equals 9. Twice the sum of its digits is 2 times 9 equals 18. This property makes 18 a unique self-referential number in this specific mathematical context among positive integers. In the International SPI resin, polymer identification coding system, what number, typically within a recycling triangle, designates polystyrene? 6. The Society of the Plastics Industry, SPI, coding system uses numbers within a recycling symbol to identify types of plastics for sorting and recycling. Polystyrene, commonly used in disposable cups and foam packaging, is designated by the number 6 in this system. What is the traditional diameter in inches of a 45 revolutions per minute gramophone record? 7. The 45 revolutions per minute record, often referred to as a single, traditionally has a diameter of 7 inches. Introduced in 1949 by RCA Victor, these records were popular for containing one song per side and became a staple of music distribution for decades. What is the carat value of pure gold? 24 carats. Carat is a unit of purity for gold alloys, where 24 carats represents 100% pure gold. Lower carat values indicate the proportion of gold in an alloy, commonly mixed with metals like copper or silver to increase durability. Which city is the state capital and largest city of Victoria, Australia? Melbourne. Melbourne serves as the capital and most populous city of the Australian state of Victoria. It is a major economic, cultural, and sporting hub, often recognized for its livability and vibrant arts scene. What modern term is an acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation? Laser. Laser is an acronym for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, a technology that produces a highly concentrated and coherent beam of light. Lasers have numerous applications in fields like medicine, telecommunications, manufacturing, and scientific research due to their precision and intensity. In 2011, the US National Research Council proposed solutions involving magnets, nets, and giant umbrellas to address the exponentially increasing problem of what type of debris? Space junk, orbital debris. Space junk, or orbital debris, refers to defunct artificial objects in Earth orbit. The US National Research Council highlighted this growing problem in 2011, proposing various methods to mitigate the risk it poses to active satellites and future space missions, including active debris removal technologies. In Judaism, what is the loose and original meaning of the term mitzvah? Commandment. In Judaism, a mitzvah refers to a commandment from God, often encompassing religious duties and good deeds. Traditionally, there are 613 mitzvot derived from the Torah, guiding Jewish life and ethical conduct. What mythical paradise and expression was conceived in James Hilton's 1933 novel Lost Horizon? Shangri-La. Shangri-La is a fictional utopian valley described in James Hilton's 1933 novel Lost Horizon. It has come to represent any remote, earthly paradise or a mystical, harmonious land isolated from the world. How many degrees are in a right angle? 90. A right angle is a fundamental geometric concept measuring exactly 90 degrees. It is formed by two lines or line segments that are perpendicular to each other. The remains of what late 1800s Australian folk hero were identified by DNA in 2011? Ned Kelly. Ned Kelly was a prominent Australian bushranger and folk hero active in the late 19th century. His remains were identified using DNA analysis in 2011, resolving a long-standing historical mystery regarding his burial site. What common internet term is a loose portmanteau of two words broadly meaning internet and diary? Blog. The term blog is a portmanteau of weblog, combining web, internet, and log, diary. It refers to an online journal or informational website where entries are typically displayed in reverse chronological order. What Brazilian originating dance and music in Portuguese means loosely, new trend? Bossa Nova. Bossa Nova is a style of Brazilian music, derived from samba, that emerged in the late 1950s. Its name, literally, new trend, or new wave, in Portuguese, reflects its innovative fusion of samba rhythms with jazz harmonies. Stately home Cliveden, now a hotel, was a pool party venue for characters involved in what famous political scandal, named after the Secretary of State for War at its center? Profumo. The Profumo affair was a 1963 British political scandal involving John Profumo, the Secretary of State for War, and Christine Keeler, a showgirl. It exposed a web of espionage, high society, and sex, leading to Profumo's resignation and significant damage to the Conservative government. What sort of bird is a coot? Aquatic. A coot is a medium-sized water bird, typically dark-plumaged, belonging to the rail family Rallidae. They are well adapted for aquatic environments, feeding on vegetation and small invertebrates found in lakes, ponds, and slow-moving rivers. The web-based not-for-profit venture which compiles and freely offers vast numbers of documents and literary works is called Project what? Gutenberg. Project Gutenberg is the oldest digital library, founded in 1971 by Michael Hart. It offers free access to over 60,000 ebooks, primarily older works for which US copyright has expired, making literary works widely available to the public. The modern Internet grew from a non-public US defense system called ARPANET. ARPANET, Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, was one of the first packet switching networks, developed by the US Department of Defense's ARPA in the late 1960s. It served as a precursor to the modern Internet, establishing key protocols and concepts for data communication. What widely referenced cosmetic surgery method contains the Greek word for fat? Liposuction. Liposuction is a cosmetic surgical procedure that removes fat from specific areas of the body. The term combines lipo, from Greek, lipos, meaning fat, and suction, accurately describing the process of fat removal by suction. The English word parliament derives from what foreign word meaning? Speak. The word parliament derives from the Old French parlement, which itself comes from par, meaning to speak. This etymology highlights the historical function of parliaments as assemblies where representatives gather to speak, debate, and deliberate on matters of state. As at 2011, how many countries of the world criminalize homosexuality? 82. As of 2011, approximately 82 countries globally criminalized homosexuality, reflecting widespread legal discrimination against LGBTQ+ individuals. While this number has decreased in recent years due to progressive legal reforms, such statistics underscore ongoing challenges in human rights and equality. As at 2011, how many countries which criminalize homosexuality are in the British Commonwealth? 40. This question touches upon human rights issues within the Commonwealth, a significant topic in international relations and social justice. The figure reflects the prevalence of such laws at a specific point in time, highlighting ongoing debates around LGBTQ+ rights globally and the Commonwealth's stance on these matters. In what year did the UK decriminalize homosexuality? 1967. The Sexual Offences Act 1967 decriminalised homosexual acts in England and Wales between men over 21. This was a landmark piece of legislation representing a significant step in the history of LGBTQ+ rights and social reform in the United Kingdom. The computer file format .wav is conventionally used for music, audio. The .wav waveform audio file format is a standard digital audio file format developed by IBM and Microsoft for storing uncompressed audio on PCs. It is commonly used for raw and uncompressed sound, making it suitable for professional audio editing and high-quality sound playback. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and General Dynamics are notable corporations in what sector? Armaments. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and General Dynamics are among the largest aerospace and defense companies globally. They are primary contractors for military aircraft, missiles, and naval vessels, playing a crucial role in the global armaments sector and national defense strategies. What is the currency of Brazil? Real. The real, plural, reis, is the current monetary unit of Brazil. It was introduced in 1994 as part of an economic stabilization plan to combat hyperinflation, replacing the Cruzeiro real and stabilizing the country's economy. Political and economic leaders are often described as being what, according to having aggressive or cautious views? Hawks, doves. In political and economic discourse, hawks typically advocate for aggressive, interventionist policies, often involving military action or strict economic measures. Doves, conversely, favor peaceful resolutions, diplomacy, and more cautious, conciliatory approaches, especially in foreign policy. The word apogee refers to what sort of point? Highest. In astronomy, the apogee is the point in the elliptical orbit of an object, such as the moon or an artificial satellite, around the Earth at which it is farthest from the Earth. Conversely, the perigee is the point at which it is closest to the Earth. What country has Baffin Bay to its west coast and Denmark Strait to its southeast? Greenland. Greenland, the world's largest island, is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. Its strategic geographical location places Baffin Bay to its west, separating it from Canada, and the Denmark Strait to its southeast, separating it from Iceland. What recent wine-making country produces varieties from its Maharashtra region? India. India has emerged as a significant wine-producing country, with Maharashtra being its leading wine region, particularly around Nashik. The region's climate and soil are conducive to viticulture, producing various grape varieties and contributing to India's growing presence in the global wine market. When bankers and brokers refer to M&A, what do they typically mean? Mergers and acquisitions. M&A, or mergers and acquisitions, refers to the consolidation of companies or assets through various financial transactions. These strategies are often employed by businesses to grow, gain market share, or achieve greater efficiency and synergy. What prominent pressure group, led by Kumi Naidu, with 3 million members, celebrated its 40th anniversary in 2011? Greenpeace. Greenpeace is a global environmental non-governmental organization founded in 1971. It is known for its direct action campaigns aimed at promoting environmental awareness and sustainable practices, addressing issues such as climate change, deforestation, and nuclear power. The Greek god Dionysus is also known by what mythical Roman godly name, associated with revelry? Bacchus. Dionysus is the ancient Greek god of wine, winemaking, grape cultivation, fertility, ritual madness, and theater. In Roman mythology, he is identified with Bacchus, whose cult involved ecstatic rituals and celebrations, often associated with wildness and liberation. In 2011, Australia launched passports offering a third gender option for intersex people, whose anatomy fits neither male nor female convention, indicated by what letter symbol? X. In 2011, Australia introduced the option of an X gender marker on passports, allowing intersex individuals to specify a gender other than male or female. This pioneering policy recognized the diverse biological characteristics of intersex people and aimed to promote inclusivity and accurate identity representation. Kevlar, the high-strength fiber material used in armor and sports equipment, is a product, brand of which International Chemicals Corporation? DuPont. Kevlar is a heat-resistant and strong synthetic fiber, a type of para-aramid, developed by Stephanie Kwolek at DuPont in 1965. It is widely known for its exceptional strength-to-weight ratio, making it invaluable in applications such as bulletproof vests, protective gear, and high-performance composites. What compound, potassium hypochlorite, commonly features in the heads of safety matches? Potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate, potassium hypochlorite, is a powerful oxidizing agent used in the heads of safety matches. It provides the necessary oxygen for the rapid combustion of the match head's combustible materials, enabling ignition when struck against a rough surface. A significant German reaction to the 2011 Fukushima crisis was to phase out what by 2022? Nuclear power. Following the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, Germany decided to accelerate its energy transition, Energiewende, by committing to phase out all nuclear power plants by the end of 2022. This policy shift emphasized a move towards renewable energy sources and increased energy efficiency. Now a stereotypical reference to a powerful Russian businessman, what word originally meaning government, rule by a small number of people is taken from the Greek words for few and rule? Oligarch. The term, oligarch, derives from the Greek words, oligos, few, and archein, to rule, literally signifying, rule by the few. In contemporary usage, particularly in post-Soviet Russia, it refers to powerful and wealthy individuals who often exert significant political influence through their economic holdings. The World Wide Web domain, TV, belongs to which Pacific Island nation? Tuvalu. The TV top-level domain, TLD, is the country code TLD, CCTLD, for Tuvalu, a small Polynesian island nation in the Pacific Ocean. Tuvalu generates substantial revenue by licensing this popular domain, which is widely adopted by television stations, media companies, and video streaming services globally due to its evocative association with television. According to popular medical opinion, at 2011, how much sleep on average is best per night for optimum adult health? 6 to 8 hours. For optimal adult health, prevailing medical opinion generally recommends an average of 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, with 6 to 8 hours often considered a healthy minimum range. Adequate sleep is vital for maintaining cognitive function, physical well-being, and overall physiological balance. What stone, still quarried in the Dorset, England, Tide Island, which also bears its name, was used in the construction of St. Paul's Cathedral and Buckingham Palace, and widely elsewhere too? Portland stone. Portland stone is a renowned British limestone quarried on the Isle of Portland, Dorset. Known for its durability and creamy white appearance, it has been a preferred material for iconic London buildings like St. Paul's Cathedral and Buckingham Palace for centuries. Its widespread use reflects its significance in British architectural heritage. Brown, for example, paint, is produced by mixing what color combination? Red, blue, yellow. Brown is a composite color formed by mixing the three primary colors. In the subtractive color model, commonly used in painting, mixing red, blue, and yellow pigments in appropriate proportions yields brown. It can also be created by mixing complementary colors like red and green, or yellow and purple. Who wrote the classic fantasy novel, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe? C.S. Lewis. The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is a celebrated fantasy novel by C.S. Lewis, published in 1950. It is the first and most widely known book of the Chronicles of Narnia series, a landmark in children's literature and fantasy. The story explores themes of good versus evil, sacrifice, and redemption through the adventures of four siblings in the magical land of Narnia. Who is the author of the iconic American novel, The Catcher in the Rye? J.D. Salinger. The Catcher in the Rye, penned by J.D. Salinger and published in 1951, is a seminal novel of adolescent alienation. The story follows Holden Caulfield's experiences in New York City after being expelled from prep school. It remains a widely read and controversial work, frequently cited for its exploration of innocence, identity, and the disillusionment of youth. Who wrote the universally acclaimed philosophical novella, Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince? Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, is a beloved philosophical novella by French aviator Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, first published in 1943. It tells the story of a young prince who visits various planets, addressing themes of loneliness, friendship, love, and loss. The book is celebrated for its poetic prose and profound observations on human nature and life. What is the author of the classic mystery novel, And Then There Were None? Agatha Christie. And Then There Were None is one of Agatha Christie's best-selling mystery novels, published in 1939. It is renowned for its intricate plot and suspenseful narrative, making it a cornerstone of detective fiction. Who is the author of the beloved children's classic, The Wind in the Willows? Kenneth Grahame. The Wind in the Willows is a classic children's novel by Kenneth Grahame, first published in 1908. It features anthropomorphic animal characters and explores themes of friendship, adventure, and the beauty of the English countryside. Who authored the influential parenting guide, The Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care? Dr. Benjamin Spock. Dr. Benjamin Spock's The Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care, first published in 1946, revolutionized child-rearing practices. It emphasized parental intuition and challenged rigid schedules, becoming one of the best-selling books of the 20th century. What legendary substance, sought by alchemists, was believed to have the power to transmute base metals into gold or silver? The Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone was a mythical alchemical substance believed to possess the ability to turn base metals into noble metals like gold and silver. It was also thought to be an elixir of life, granting immortality and rejuvenation. Originating from early Greek meaning, a living together, what term describes a close and long-term biological interaction between two different organisms where both typically benefit, such as a bee and a flower? Symbiosis. Symbiosis is a close and often long-term interaction between two different biological organisms. These relationships can be mutualistic, both benefit, commensalistic, one benefits, the other is unaffected, or parasitic, one benefits, the other is harmed. The sweet, edible fruit belonging to the plant genus Musa is commonly known by what name? Banana. Bananas are the fruit of herbaceous flowering plants in the genus Musa. They are one of the most widely consumed fruits globally, rich in potassium and various vitamins. What is the technical classification for Earth's moon in astronomical terms? Satellite. A satellite is an object that orbits a planet or star. Earth's moon is a natural satellite, orbiting our planet approximately every 27.3 days. Recep Tayyip Erdogan served as the leader of which nation as of 2011? Turkey. Recep Tayyip Erdogan was the Prime Minister of Turkey in 2011 and has since become the President of Turkey, a position he has held since 2014. He has been a dominant figure in Turkish politics for over 2 decades. Polly Toynbee is a prominent British writer and journalist primarily focusing on which subject area? Politics. Polly Toynbee is a well-known British journalist and columnist for The Guardian. Her work primarily focuses on political and social commentary, often critiquing government policies and advocating for social justice. Which historic capital city is located at the confluence of the White Nile and the Blue Nile, marking the southern beginning of the main Nile River? Khartoum. Khartoum is the capital city of Sudan, strategically located at the point where the White Nile, flowing from Lake Victoria, and the Blue Nile, originating from Lake Tana in Ethiopia, converge. This confluence forms the main Nile River, which then flows northwards through Egypt. What London landmark became the UK focus of global protests in October 2011 against corporate greed? St. Paul's Cathedral. The Occupy London movement, inspired by Occupy Wall Street, established a camp near St. Paul's Cathedral in October 2011 to protest corporate greed and social inequality. This protest drew significant public attention and sparked debates about economic justice and the role of financial institutions. What UK newspaper's grossly wrong reporting of the 1989 Hillsborough Soccer Stadium disaster still causes it to be boycotted in Liverpool over 20 years later? The Sun. The Sun newspaper faced severe backlash for its reporting on the 1989 Hillsborough disaster, particularly for articles falsely blaming fans. This led to a widespread and enduring boycott of the newspaper in Liverpool, highlighting the long-term impact of journalistic integrity and media accountability. In physics, mass multiplied by velocity equals what, represented by the symbol p? Momentum. In physics, momentum is a fundamental vector quantity defined as the product of an object's mass and its velocity, p equals mv. It describes an object's quantity of motion and is a conserved quantity in a closed system. What is the Internet Country Code top-level domain, www country domain suffix for Mexico. MX. A country code top-level domain, CCTLD, is an internet top-level domain generally used or reserved for a country or a dependent territory. For Mexico, the designated CCTLD is MX, following the ISO 3166-1 ALPHA2 country codes. The Latin pectus refers to what part of the human body? Chest. Pectus is a Latin term meaning chest or breast. It is frequently used in medical and anatomical terminology, such as in pectoral muscles, which are the large muscles of the chest. What was the population of the world at the 31st of October 2011 according to the United Nations? 7 billion. The United Nations officially marked October 31, 2011, as the Day of 7 billion, symbolizing the global population reaching this significant milestone. This event highlighted global demographic trends, resource management, and sustainable development challenges. Traditional UK government terminology for the persuasion of ministers to vote according to party policy is called whip. In a parliamentary system, a whip refers to an official of a political party whose role is to ensure party discipline and persuade members to vote according to the party line. The term also denotes a written instruction requiring members to attend and vote in a specific way. What French term, meaning high dressmaking, refers internationally to expensive designer clothing, typically of leading fashion houses? Haute couture. Haute couture is a French term meaning high dressmaking or high fashion. It refers to the creation of exclusive custom-fitted clothing, typically made for a specific client by a fashion house, often characterized by high quality, elaborate detailing, and expensive fabrics. What national population is projected, as at 2011, to overtake China in 2020 as the largest in the world? India. In 2011, projections indicated that India's population was set to surpass China's, making it the world's most populous nation, a milestone officially achieved in 2023. This demographic shift has significant implications for global economics, politics, and resource management. Christina Kirchner was re-elected president of which country in October 2011? Argentina. Cristina Fernández de Kirchner served as president of Argentina from 2007 to 2015. Her re-election in October 2011 was a significant political event in South America, marking her second term in office. She was the first female president of Argentina to be re-elected. Horology is the study of the measurement of what? Time. Horology is the scientific study of time, timekeeping, and the construction of time-measuring instruments. This field encompasses the design, development, and manufacture of clocks, watches, and other devices used to measure time accurately. It involves principles of physics, engineering, and craftsmanship. What country features centrally and ironically in a map of Europe on the reverse face of euro coins? UK. The early series of euro coins, 1999 to 2006, featured a geographical image of the European Union, which prominently included the United Kingdom. This design choice became notable for its irony, as the UK maintained its own currency and never adopted the euro, further highlighted after its departure from the European Union. What iconic Moscow theatre reopened in 2011 after major refurbishment and earlier decades of neglect? Bolshoi. The Bolshoi Theatre in Moscow is one of the world's most renowned opera and ballet theatres, a symbol of Russian culture. Its major refurbishment from 2005 to 2011, costing over $1 billion, aimed to restore its historic grandeur and address significant structural issues. The reopening was a highly anticipated international cultural event. What sex hormonal substance, from Greek for gadfly, maintains and develops human female body characteristics? Estrogen. Estrogen, or estrogen, is the primary female sex hormone, crucial for the development and regulation of the female reproductive system and secondary sexual characteristics. Produced mainly by the ovaries, it influences the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, and bone density. Its name is derived from estrus, referring to the reproductive cycle. Name the Israeli corporal released in October 2011 by Palestinian Hamas militants, held hostage since June 2006. Gilad Shalit. Gilad Shalit was an Israeli soldier captured by Hamas in 2006 and released in 2011 as part of a significant prisoner exchange. This event was a major development in Israeli-Palestinian relations and a focal point of international diplomacy. Yulia Tymoshenko, controversially jailed for 7 years in 2011 for exceeding her authority in signing a Russian gas deal, was Prime Minister of which country? Ukraine. Yulia Tymoshenko, a key figure in Ukraine's Orange Revolution, served as Prime Minister. Her controversial imprisonment in 2011, related to a gas deal with Russia, highlighted geopolitical tensions and domestic political struggles within Ukraine. Actress Maziya Wafeme was sentenced to 90 lashes in a year in prison after appearing in an Australian film critical of what country, her homeland? Iran. Maziya Wafeme is an Iranian actress whose sentencing in 2011, following her appearance in a film critical of Iran, garnered international attention. This case highlighted issues of artistic freedom and human rights within the Islamic Republic of Iran. The UK's most senior civil servant has traditionally held what post? Cabinet Secretary. The Cabinet Secretary is the most senior civil servant in the United Kingdom, serving as the head of the civil service and the principal policy advisor to the Prime Minister and Cabinet. This position is vital for the efficient and impartial functioning of the government administration. The Omega Speedmaster is claimed, as of 2011, to be the only watch worn on the Moon. The Omega Speedmaster Professional is famously known as the Moon Watch, because it was the first watch worn on the Moon by Buzz Aldrin during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969. It was rigorously tested and certified by NASA for all manned space missions. What is the common name of the clear, flammable early anesthetic liquid with the formula C2H5OC2H5, or CH3CH2OCH2CH3? Ether. Diethyl ether, C2H5OC2H5, is commonly known as ether. It was one of the earliest and most widely used general anesthetics in medicine, revolutionizing surgical practices in the 19th century. F equals ma is a common simplification of what? Newton's second law of motion. F equals ma is the mathematical representation of Newton's second law of motion, which states that the force acting on an object is equal to its mass multiplied by its acceleration. This fundamental law is a cornerstone of classical mechanics, explaining the relationship between force, mass, and motion. The famous geographical feature Chesil Beach in Dorset, England, is a natural coastal barrier made of pebbles. Chesil Beach is a prominent 29-kilometer-long shingle bar, composed entirely of pebbles, located in Dorset, England. This unique geological formation separates the Fleet Lagoon from the open sea and is renowned for its graded pebbles. At the outset of a major demonstration against capitalist greed and recklessness in London in October 2011, what group did the Rev. Giles Fraser ask to leave the steps of St. Paul's Cathedral? Police. This refers to the Occupy London movement in October 2011, a protest against corporate greed and financial inequality. The demonstration camped outside St. Paul's Cathedral, and Reverend Giles Fraser, then Canon Chancellor, famously asked the police to leave the cathedral grounds, asserting the right to protest. Zebra, panda, pelican, and puffin are types of UK what? Pedestrian road crossing. These terms denote distinct types of pedestrian crossing used in the United Kingdom, each designed with specific safety features and traffic control mechanisms. For example, zebra crossing grant pedestrians right of way, while pelican and puffin crossing are signal controlled, with puffin crossing incorporating sensors to detect pedestrians. What common scientific suffix, referring to having a productive quality, is from the French, Greek word loosely meaning, born of a specific kind. Gen. The suffix gen originates from Greek and Latin roots, signifying producing, born, or generated. It is widely utilized in scientific nomenclature, particularly in biology and chemistry, to denote substances that produce or form something, such as pathogen, disease-producing, or hydrogen, water-forming. What Canadian technology service suffered a major internet outage in October 2011, angering millions of its customers unable to use its email and popular messenger services, and prompting calls for its owners to sell up and exit? BlackBerry. In October 2011, BlackBerry, then Research in Motion or RIM, experienced a severe global service disruption lasting several days, impacting email and messaging for millions of users. This incident significantly damaged the company's reputation and exacerbated its challenges in the fiercely competitive smartphone market. What hugely popular annual celebration takes its name from the Sanskrit for row of lambs? Diwali. Diwali, also known as Deepavali, is a prominent Hindu festival celebrated widely across India and by the global Hindu diaspora. The name, Diwali, is derived from the Sanskrit word, Deepavali, where, Deepa, signifies lamp or light, and, Avali, means a row, collectively translating to, a row of lamps. The Easterlin paradox concerns the relationship between wealth and happiness. The Easterlin paradox, proposed by economist Richard Easterlin in 1974, posits that while richer individuals within a country tend to be happier than poorer ones, an increase in a nation's average income beyond a certain point does not necessarily lead to a corresponding rise in average national happiness. It highlights the complex and nonlinear relationship between economic prosperity and subjective well-being. What famous UK 304-mile protest march took place in October 1936? Jarrow Crusade. The Jarrow Crusade was a significant protest march in October 1936, during which 200 unemployed men from Jarrow, a town in northeast England, walked 304 miles to London. Their aim was to present a petition to the government demanding employment, symbolizing the severe economic depression and widespread unemployment plaguing Britain in the 1930s.